Hi, I'm Anthony. I've spent the last decade writing code during the day and saving every extra penny at night. For 5 years, I've been putting away cash for a down payment on our dream house, a Victorian with a wraparound porch that my wife Melissa has been eyeing since we got married. Have you checked our accounts lately? I asked Melissa one Saturday morning as she graded papers at our kitchen table. Being an elementary school teacher meant weekends were never truly weekends for her. That's why we have Dad helping us, so I don't have to think about numbers outside of teaching fractions, she laughed, not looking up from her red pen. Melissa's father, Richard Coleman, had been managing our investments since we got married. The guy was a financial advisor with 30 years of experience and a client list that included half the town's doctors and lawyers. He had this way of making me feel like a kid who couldn't balance his own checkbook, but Melissa trusted him completely, so I went along with it. I'm just going to take a quick look, I said, opening my laptop. It had been a few months since I'd checked our joint savings account, the one earmarked for our future home. The screen loaded, and my stomach dropped. What the hell? Language, Anthony, Melissa scolded without looking up. What's wrong? There's money missing, a lot of money. That got her attention. What do you mean missing? I mean $175,000 missing, just gone. Melissa pushed aside her papers. That's impossible. Maybe you're looking at the wrong account? I wasn't. After 3 calls to the bank and an emergency meeting with their fraud department, the picture wasn't getting any clearer. Someone had been making systematic transfers from our account over the past year. Could it be identity theft? Melissa asked the bank manager, squeezing my hand so tight I lost feeling in my fingers. The transfers were authorized using valid credentials, the manager explained. Whoever did this had all the right passwords and security answers. That night, I couldn't sleep. While Melissa tossed and turned beside me, I dug deeper into our financial records. Around 3 a.m., I found a pattern. Transfers going to numbered accounts, then being routed through shell companies before disappearing completely. By morning, I'd traced the shell companies back to their registration documents. I stared at my screen, unable to process what I was seeing. Did you sleep at all? Melissa asked, finding me at the kitchen table surrounded by printouts. I found where the money went. Where? Who took it? I turned my laptop toward her, showing her the business registration documents. Your dad? What? That's ridiculous, she scoffed. Look at the signatures, Melissa. Look at the company officers. It's all right there. Her face paled as she looked closer. There must be some mistake. The transfers were authorized using my credentials, but they all went through companies owned by Richard. Your father has been stealing from us for over a year. I called Richard the next morning, trying to keep my voice steady despite the rage building inside me. We need to talk about our accounts. Today. Sure, son? Everything okay? You sound tense? I'll be at your office in an hour. When I arrived, Richard was sitting behind his mahogany desk, looking every bit the successful financial advisor in his tailored suit. The certificates on his wall seemed to mock me now. So what's this emergency about? Melissa called. She sounds worried. I slid the printouts across his desk. I want to know why $175,000 is missing from our savings and why the money trail leads to companies registered in your name. Richard barely glanced at the papers. There's clearly been a misunderstanding. Those are strategic investments I've been making on your behalf. Without telling us, without a single document. I explained this to Melissa months ago. It's a complex tax strategy. The returns will be substantial, but I needed to move quickly on opportunities. That's bullshit, and you know it. Richard's friendly facade cracked. Watch your tone. This is exactly why I didn't involve you directly. You don't understand basic financial principles, let alone advanced investment strategies. Then explain it. Show me where our money is now. These things take time. The funds are tied up in various ventures. Liquidating now would mean substantial penalties. The door opened, and Melissa walked in, eyes red from crying. Dad, please tell me Anthony's wrong about this. Richard stood up and hugged her. Of course he is, sweetie. Your husband's jumping to conclusions because he doesn't understand how investments work. So the money's safe? She asked. Absolutely, growing nicely, in fact. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Are you serious right now? He's lying to your face. Melissa turned to me, her expression hardening. Maybe if you'd attended any of the financial planning meetings Dad invited you to, you'd understand what's happening here. The drive home was silent. That night, sleeping on the couch, I made a call to my college roommate James, who now worked in digital forensics. Damn, that's cold, James said after I explained everything. I can help you trace where the money actually went. But are you sure you want to know? Could blow your marriage apart? It's already falling apart. I need the truth. For the next week, James and I dug through financial records, court documents, and property transactions. Melissa barely spoke to me, convinced I was attacking her father out of spite. Got something, James said one night, pointing at his laptop screen. The money went through those shell companies, then was used to make mortgage payments on a property in Oak Ridge Heights. That's only 20 minutes from here. There's more. Property taxes, utility bills, even private school tuition for 2 kids. All paid with what looks like your money. The next day, James and I parked across from a 2-story colonial in Oak Ridge Heights. Around 5:30, a silver Mercedes pulled into the driveway. Richard's car. Maybe it's just an investment property, James suggested. Then Richard stepped out carrying grocery bags. The front door opened and a woman with shoulder-length blonde hair rushed out to help him. Behind her, 2 teenagers, a boy and a girl, followed, both giving Richard warm hugs. "Hello, my beautiful family," Richard called out, kissing the woman full on the lips. "Holy shit," James whispered beside me. I felt sick watching Richard wrap his arm around the woman, using his free hand to ruffle the boy's hair. It wasn't just the money he'd stolen from us, it was a whole secret life. James and I uncovered the full picture of Richard's secret life within days. The woman was Vanessa, his wife of 15 years with 2 teenagers, Jason and Caitlin. This relationship had started even before I met Melissa. "We need legal backup," I told James as we sorted through documents in my garage. "This goes beyond just our money." I called my law school friend Sarah, who arrived with a notepad and grim expression. "You've got enough for criminal charges, but we need to establish his pattern completely. And we should talk to Vanessa. She's likely a victim too. How do I approach her without alerting Richard?" "I'll create a cover story. Just follow my lead." 2 days later, I sat across from Vanessa at a local coffee shop, introduced through a fake neighborhood association inquiry Sarah had arranged. "Thanks for meeting me. I'm new to the area." Vanessa smiled warmly. "Happy to help. My husband knows everything about this neighborhood." "What does he do?" "Richard's in financial services, but volunteers for the town planning commission too." She showed me a family photo. "That's our son Jason and daughter Caitlin. Beautiful family. Your husband must be devoted." "Completely. Works hard, travels for clients, but never misses our Sunday family dinners." The same excuse he used when canceling plans with Melissa and me. "I'm actually looking for financial advice. Does he take new clients?" "Absolutely." She handed me a business card with an office address I'd never seen. Sarah helped set up a fake startup seeking investors. Richard took the bait through his secondary office. "The returns are guaranteed," he told our undercover colleague. "I can move client funds immediately. They'll never know, and everyone wins." We recorded everything. With solid evidence, I approached Melissa again. "I don't want to hear more accusations," she snapped. "Then don't listen, just watch." I played the video of Richard with his other family, then the recording of him offering to misappropriate client funds. Melissa's face crumbled. "This can't be real." "It is." I showed her property records, school payments, and the trail of our stolen money. "Our house down payment is paying for his other family's lifestyle." Melissa sat silent, tears streaming down her face. Then she picked up her phone. "Dad, we need to talk, right now. And don't you dare lie to me again." When Richard arrived, he found not just us waiting, but also Sarah with legal documents spread across our dining table. "What's this ambush about?" Richard demanded, his confident facade cracking. "It's about your wife, Vanessa," Melissa said, her voice ice cold. "And your children, Jason and Caitlin, and how you've been stealing from us to fund your secret family." Richard's face drained of color as he realized he had nowhere left to hide. Richard tried to regain control of the situation, straightening his tie with shaking hands. "This is all a massive misunderstanding. I can explain everything." "Save it for court," Sarah said, sliding papers toward him. "These are notifications that we've filed theft charges and contacted the Financial Regulatory Board." Melissa wiped her tears. "How could you do this to Mom? To me?" "Your mother's been gone 8 years," Richard stammered. "I was lonely." "Vanessa thinks you've been married for 15 years. Mom was still alive then." Richard collapsed into a chair. "Please, let's handle this privately. I'll return the money." "Too late," I said. "But don't worry, the exposure is just beginning." The annual Financial Excellence Awards were scheduled for the following Friday. Richard was set to receive an Advisor of the Decade honor. Perfect timing. You can't ruin this for me, Richard begged when he learned our plan. I've worked 30 years for this recognition. Should have thought about that before stealing from your own daughter. I arranged everything with Sarah's help. We contacted Vanessa with evidence of Richard's double life. Initially disbelieving, she finally agreed to attend the ceremony after seeing bank statements showing her mortgage paid with our stolen funds. The ballroom was packed with financial elites when we arrived. Richard paled seeing both Melissa and Vanessa with their families seated at adjacent tables. His colleague Martin approached our table. Anthony, surprised to see you here. Richard said you couldn't make it. Wouldn't miss it for the world. Have you met Richard's wife? Of course, hello, Melissa. Actually, I meant his other wife, Vanessa. She's right there. The confusion spread quickly. When Richard was called to the stage, the president of the Financial Association handed him his award just as Sarah walked in with 2 police officers. We have some additional presentations, I announced, taking the microphone. First, evidence that tonight's honoree has been systematically defrauding clients, including his own family. The projector displayed Richard's financial crimes in devastating detail. Second, meet Vanessa Coleman and her children, Richard's secret family funded by stolen client money. Richard tried to flee but was blocked by security. The police officers approached the stage. This is a private matter, Richard protested. Identity theft and financial fraud aren't private matters, one officer replied, handcuffing him. As Richard was escorted out, both families confronted him in the lobby. I trusted you completely, Vanessa cried. Our whole marriage is a lie. I'm so sorry, Richard pleaded. I truly love both of you. I can make this right. There's no making this right, Melissa said. Don't contact us again. 3 months later, Sarah called with news. The court ordered full restitution of your funds, plus damages. They've seized his assets to cover it. What about his trial? Looking at 8-10 years. His license is permanently revoked. Melissa and I used the recovered money as down payment on a small house, not the Victorian of our dreams, but ours free of Richard's influence. I still can't believe he chose this path, Melissa said as we unpacked boxes. He had everything. Now he has nothing. That evening, we met Vanessa for coffee. Our shared betrayal had created an unexpected bond. The kids are adjusting, she said. It's hard, but we're moving forward. Same here, Melissa replied, squeezing my hand, one day at a time. Walking home, Melissa stopped suddenly. I've been meaning to ask, who's handling our finances now? I smiled. We are, together. No shortcuts, no secrets. I like the sound of that. What would you have done if you were in Anthony's position? Was publicly exposing Richard at his award ceremony justified revenge for stealing $175,000 and betraying both families? Or did Anthony go too far by destroying Richard's reputation in front of everyone? Would private consequences have been enough? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Would you have handled things differently? The line between justice and revenge can be controversial, and I'd love to hear your perspective. If you enjoyed this story of justice served, hit that like button to help others find it. Subscribe to the channel for more revenge stories where toxic people finally face consequences for their actions. New stories coming every day.